I'm very excited. I'm super stoked. I was just talking about him. We're going to be welcoming the first of my special guests to this marathon stream. This guy's an experienced Twitch streamer, specializing in cinematic covers and originals. He's also an accomplished music producer, having released 2 albums, I want to say, 1 holiday EP, over a dozen singles, and is currently collaborating with some great artists and releasing his own money for sync in film and TV. He's also a music teacher, a family man, and you may have seen him around Twitch as the unofficial pitch man for the insulated coffee mugs made by Contigo. Besides music and family, his new Netflix series, Maple Man, one Canadian's journey through every Ableton drum kit while enjoying poutine, recently dropped its first episode to critical acclaim, and his stand-up political comedy special, Why I Oughta, Ottawa, earned him a Canadian Screen Awards nomination for Best Makeup. Let's go ahead and welcome Dan Tremblay to the stream.
We hears the Dan.
Now, I would like to state for the record that before you could hear the Dan said that was the best introduction that he had ever heard for anything ever in the history of the universe.
It is true. That's honestly, that might be the best thing that I've ever heard. Period. Yeah,
really?
In my life. Yeah. Well, I don't get out much.
Yeah, I mean, that could be problematic. Maybe some more hobbies would be good.
Yeah, seriously.
You have the
really
Contigo mug. You can't take it places. You know.
It's true. It's true. It is a signature. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. By the way, I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. You know distinctly and uniquely the challenges of an 18-hour stream.
Yeah, I know enough about it that I would never do it again. But,
really?
Anyway, I'm sure it's going to work out fine, Luke.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, man.
It's going to be just fine.
Thanks. I appreciate the warning after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's too late now.
Yeah, I know. Now
go with it.
Now I'm just locked in. I literally have to go to 2 a.m. because that's when Ken and I are jamming.
Okay. Yeah,
so no matter what, I can't dip. I can't dip early.
I hear you.
We mentioned that it's the best. The intro was the best thing you've ever heard, but I find that hard to believe because I know for a fact that you and I both have very similar tastes in music in terms of some of the artists and stuff that we like.
True.
Like
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
a huge. I mean, you've got that Peter Gabriel poster behind you. You've got that Sting poster behind you there.
I got the Peter Gabriel hoodie on right now.
Did you go to the tour?
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, he came. Almost nobody comes to my city. No big artists ever come. I think we've probably talked about this. So I think you've been to Montreal a bunch of times. So yeah. So we have to go to Montreal pretty much for every show. But we were lucky Peter Gabriel came here. So yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, dude's still giving her, man. There's a couple some hardcore fans in the front row, first 2-3 rows, and they were just going ballistic. They were like hardcore Gabriel fans. So people really were really into it, and the whole live show, like the lighting and video and everything, was amazing. So yeah.
I've never seen Peter Gabriel live.
Oh, dude, you got to go.
I know.
I think that was my third time. We saw the solo show when Up came out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we saw the Sting Peter Gabriel combined show. Yeah.
We talked about that when you were in New York, I think. You were telling me about that.
We did.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, because I was too young to see the Secret World live, right?
Yeah. I was just starting to become a big fan around that time when that album came out. I think that was like my first couple of albums that I ever bought. One was In Excess, Kick, and one was Peter Gabriel, Us, for CDs, like my first CD collection. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then the growing up tour. I mean, like the staging and all that. So is he still like? I mean, he's got to be what, like 107 years old now? I mean, something like that.
Yeah, he's in his 70s. Yeah. You know, I mean, he moves around a little more slowly, but the voice is almost better because, you know, it's gotten a little bit deeper. There's more texture. It's more Leonard Cohen now. Elder
statesman, gravelly type of a thing going on.
Yeah. And the live show is he's always been on the cutting edge of his live shows. Like there wouldn't be like a U2 without Peter Gabriel. He was doing it long before they ever were. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Peter Gabriel.
Shouts out to Peter Gabriel. Can we shout out Peter? Can we shout out Peter Gabriel?
I have to apologize because my screen, my view is reversed, and I couldn't fix it. So,
It's okay,
yeah,
man. I think mine is okay. Mine's correct here in Twitch. Like it's because this is my right, and you're seeing it as your left.
wait, is this
Oh my
right?
gosh, it's actually an actual shout out for Peter Gabriel. Wait, Peter Gabriel plays game. That's what?
I knew he was on Twitch. He's probably killing it too.
Look, he's a lot younger looking too. You can see him there.
Yeah, he takes care of himself.
Yeah, it's it's really skincare. It's really a skincare routine that it comes down to.
It's all about the moisturizer.
It really is. Like, I mentioned that to you actually, like, not to be creepy or anything like that, but I sat next to you when you were in New York and I was looking at him and I'm like, that dude's got nice skin. No, I don't know. I'm so tired. Were you on when I was talking about the fact I got 4 hours of sleep last night before this 18-hour stream?
No, I was trying to solve the technical. I was having some technical issues there, but yeah, I missed that. If it's any consolation, we were also up the entire night because our dog, our crazy husky, we had thunderstorms.
Oh.
And she's terrified, and she'll pant continuously. So,
oh, poor thing.
yeah, we were both up for like 4 hours in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, it's like we have like kids. It's like our kids are young again.
Are you going to get a chance to get a nap later on, I hope?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll sneak in a little nappies. We need sleep. Sleep's so
little
overrated.
nappy nap. Yeah. Now, so, gosh, I mean, we're just kind of shooting the shit now because I feel like when we chatted on your stream, we kind of went through so many things that we just talked about. But
yeah, thank you again for that. By the way, not to cut you off, but like you literally saved me because that was I think had you on like towards the end of my 18 hours, and I was like, you were having some technical problems. We weren't sure we were going to get you on. I'm like, oh man,
right.
if I don't get Greg on, I am done. Like I cannot go on. That's what I was saying to myself. I had a little battle at the end there. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it was that one. No, I was talking about that right when you were getting backstage, like talking about I flew down to Texas, got to the hotel, got checked in, and I'd been because when I travel, I'm like drinking at the airport, drinking on the plane, So I'm just kind of like like trying to get my audio because I had an audio interface for like my iPhone or something I was trying to get working and it wasn't working. Had to use like my Surface and it was all crappy and janky and slow on the airport Wi-Fi, or sorry, the hotel Wi-Fi. And Fee was messaging me, but one of my devices, the battery had died. So I was like trying to, every time I'd switch between things, I'd like lose what I was trying to set up. So it was stressful for all of us. But then we ended up having like a nice 2-hour chat.
Thank God, man, it saved me. Yeah, you probably noticed that I was like, I'm gonna keep asking Greg questions because I can't physically cannot do anything else.
No, it was awesome, man. I really had a great time.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. And I thought about coming into this for my 18 hours, the people I'm talking to, because I've got 4 people I'm chatting with, and then Ken and I are doing the remote jam at the end. I'm like, do I want to prepare questions? Do I want to like treat it like that? Because Kid Pochokal, when he does the GSG talks, he sits there and he preps. He looks stuff up. I had these like grand plans to have like clips and graphics and stuff for each of the stream. Man, like,
yeah, that's hardcore.
Then yesterday when I had to redo this, I had to figure out a way to do the setup because the stuff I ordered got stolen. I'm going to keep mentioning it every hour.
That sucks. Yeah, that totally sucks.
Yeah, man, my neighborhood's really safe. I was actually surprised about that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, I didn't have time to do any of that stuff. I wanted to have a nice little bottom third, like the bottom third saying Dan Tremblay Music, scholar, philosopher, chess grandmaster, like that, just like different stuff changing like throughout there.
Little clips from my stream.
Yeah, exactly,
some
exactly.
Childhood pictures, my wedding video.
I did reach out to like your family. I did. They were like, please stop contacting us. Because I was like,
there's a warrant out in our city for that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I can't come there anymore. So. Yeah, like
we had tons of fun, by the way. I'm sure I probably told you this. My family, when I told them we were going to New York City, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna hook up with Greg from Twitch, and they're like, what? I'm like, what if he's like a serial killer or something? I'm like, well, I don't think he's a serial killer as far as I know, and it turns out he wasn't, because we're still here.
Well,
but they had a ball. They had an absolute ball.
Long
We had so
con.
much fun that night.
Oh, yeah,
we really did.
No, it was really a great time, and
Yeah.
I realized that when I was on my way there, I'm like, this is kind of crazy, because like I okay, so some of the people, I don't think they're in here right now, but there's some folks that I had met online years and years ago, like in the 2000s, playing like this Lego video game called Blockland together, and then they ended up working for me at my old company, and then we ended up staying friends after they left the company, and it was like meeting them in real life. It was somebody that I'd been talking to them online for 10 years at that point, so meeting them in real life, it was just kind of like really natural. Here we are, we're like, I was on this dude's stream. I've been in his stream chat. You've been in my stream chat. We had the guest starting that we did, and I'm like on my way there. I'm like, and he's here with his like kids and his spouse, and I'm like, is this weird? Am I being weird?
I'm glad we did it. I think that we spend so much time getting to know each other, like on Twitch and other artists. That like if I met any of these, like I've had the opportunity to meet some people on Twitch. And it's like no time has passed. It's like you're just getting together with an old buddy, and
it is kind of interesting.
I think anytime you have an opportunity to do it, I think it's amazing if it can happen. So,
and it's also like sometimes, being that you do cinematic covers and originals. See what I'm doing there. I'm kind of taking the conversation.
There's a little segue there. Yeah.
Yeah, but seeing that you do that. And I improvise too, and you talk on your stream. You're actually really good about that, about keeping up with what's going on with the chat, and keeping, like, for me it's chaos over there. It's just I'm hanging on, like white knuckle, hanging on, trying to make it through, like, and I'm trying to keep up with the stream, and then people are redeeming stuff. And I'm like, nah, so it's you always seem so calm, cool, and collected, even when something might be going wrong. And
usually something is going wrong. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and so I feel like when you're in music streamers in particular that aren't like, the 10,000 viewers or the 1,000 viewers, that they're playing a character, in other words, like when you're where we're at, we can kind of be ourselves on stream a little bit more. So meeting people in real life is kind of like you're meeting an old friend, because we kind of already know each other. While we don't necessarily bring our whole selves to the stream, like there's things we keep private, stuff like that. I still feel like there's an honesty there that you lose with some of the game streamers, the DJ streamers, or the larger music streamers, the big, huge ones.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Yeah, I've had a bunch of people. Some people have been following me for a long time. That, that's one guy's been following me like since the beginning, and he's like, I love hanging out in like small streams. I'm like, well, I joked at the beginning. I'm like, man, you reached like the bottom of the barrel, buddy. So it's all good. You're in the right place. But I think it's true. I think as a stream, gets bigger, lots of people in it, I think you lose that kind of intimacy that I think people are kind of drawn to. So it's kind of a fine line, Hey,
Koki's in the chat. Hey, Coke, good to see you, man. That's another streamer, by the way, folks, that is just true self, brings his true self to the stream. It's a lot of fun. Coke has been a good friend since I started streaming. But yeah, Dan, it's like, you're right that as a stream grows, and it does seem to do that. Like, I don't know if you struggled with that. Like, because how long have you been streaming on Twitch now?
It has been, I guess, just about 2.5 years now. Yeah. I had done it before. I'm sure I probably tell you about the early beginnings of. I'd streamed for a little while and was like, went absolutely nowhere. So I left. I was on another platform and I came back. So I was it's been about just about 2.5 years now. So I think, yeah, when you're talking about like feeling more relaxed on stream, I think it's because the community has been so amazing, and because I've had so many technical problems go wrong that now I'm just like, whatever, man. I try not to worry about it. And even the raids now, like if a juicy raid comes in now, I'm just kind of like, it's all good. Like I was told this at the beginning about beginning my streaming journey is just do your thing when big raids come in or whatever raids come in. But I think more so now than ever, I realize that the people that want to stick around are going to stick around, and a huge chunk are going to go right away because they've been watching another streamer and they want to go about their days. So
Right.
I try not to let those things worry me about anymore. I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. We got 100. For us streamers our size, if you get like 150 person raid, that's a nice raid.
Yeah.
But at least 50% are already out the door right away. So
Right,
those kind of
right.
things, I'm just like, I try not to worry about it as much anymore. Because I used to get really stressed out about it in the beginning, and really adrenaline was going, and my hands would actually get a little shaky.
Really?
Yeah.
But you've been
sorry, go ahead.
you've been a performer for a long time. Well, let me come right back to that, just because it's kind of funny. I had my first music stream was on April 17th. Sorry, April 19th last year. My second one was on April 26th, and that's when I made affiliate. Third one was April 27th. And then that Saturday, April 29th, I remember this, and I actually have it. That's how you heard me clicking. I was going to my calendar because I marked it. I was doing a behind the scenes, like I was redoing some of my patches in Ableton, like a tech stream, like a chatting tech stream. It was my probably my seventh overall stream because I did some 3 production streams earlier that month. But it was like, that week was a crazy week. So it was April 29th. And the Saturday was when I was doing this. And Fee might remember this. I don't know if Fee was in there. Because Fee started modding like the 26th, like literally my second music stream. I got rated by India Gautier DJ. This is me nerding out in Ableton, like programming CliffX Pro and stuff like that, like running some cables and talking about stuff, like the nerdiest of nerdy streams. And I got rated with 385 people.
Oh, nice. That's a juicy raid.
It is, but I was just like, wow, I really would have liked to have this raid. Like when I was actually making music.
The XLR cable in your hand, and you're like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. Like, oh boy. And but that's interesting that you have that perspective that you've been performing a long time. You've been making music a long time. And do you find yourself getting? First off, do you still do live performance?
I haven't done live performances in a while. Like every now and again, there'll be like an in real life gig. There'll be like a charity kind of thing pops up from time to time that I'll do. That's just like kind of a local thing. But yeah, we were talking about this, I think, like in the beginning when we first got to know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
How there's just not. Especially in my city, there's next to no venues, especially for the type of music that we do. So
right.
It's really tough, if I had the money, my wife and I have talked for a long time about opening up like a small venue that's like kind of like an immersive experience. Like if I had the cash, that's what I would do. Just like this killer music venue with just amazing sound, amazing like visual projections.
Oh yeah,
just get everybody in there, but keep it small so it's intimate. But yeah, there's not much here, to be honest with you. In the whole bar scene, I'm like so done with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a little bit tough. But Twitch has been a really good outlet for me to like just kind of just explore and get better with stuff. And so yeah. So yeah, going forward, I'm not sure if the opportunities come up, then I'll jump at the chance. But I'm more into the production side of things right now, which I'm actually really enjoying. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I plan on getting there soon. Don't worry.
Another segue.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about that. Koki was saying that he got rated by 125 people while totally oblivious to it, just away from keyboard. I can imagine that. And the chaos.
Sometimes there's good ones, and I've had ones where I get rated, and I'm like, I've gone to the washer, and I come back, and and then by the time I get back, almost everybody's gone. Like, what are you gonna do? It is what it is.
Yeah. Koki, I can imagine the chaos in your chat if you had the voice synthesizers on when you did that. No, and so the reason I was asking about the live performance stuff is because I find it interesting that you'd get, when you'd be streaming on Twitch and you get a nice juicy raid, as you describe it, that in the early days you'd get nervous about it, because I envision that you've been in front of crowds. It's I don't know. I feel like in person is even more nerve-wracking than online, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it depends. I don't see a huge amount of difference between. I know that we have a lot of introverts on Twitch, right? I would consider myself an introvert. And there's some good friends of mine on Twitch that that I've spoken with that are just, I just love them as streamers. I won't call anyone's name, but as one in particular that he's too nervous to play in person in real life shows. I'm like, dude, you're so good.
Oh wow.
People would absolutely love it. But I think there are a lot of those things. For me, I don't really find a huge difference between like an in real life show and a Twitch stream. Other than with Twitch, there's way more tech to worry about. So
That's true.
yeah, as you know, right? Whereas
Yeah.
if you're playing an in real life show, it's like, oh, I can just do music and I don't have to worry about raids and chats and this and that and people, whatever.
Yeah.
So less to worry about with those kind of things.
Yeah,
But I also hate hauling gear too, so that's the thing. I absolutely hate packing stuff up and carrying it from one place to the next. So yeah.
Well, it's like when I was at NobCon last year, and Dan Kushner, the guy from that founded GSG, he was there and he did a set, and he has his special live rig loadout versus his massive home rig, right? And his live rig loadout is so much more compact. It's built into the cases, so it's built in the flight cases, just does it. It's like one single flight case that has the basics of everything you need.
That's genius. Yeah.
But he's doing like really like dance electronic type stuff. There's no like big keyboard or anything like that. There's no piano, but it's still really fantastic. And Actitech has got something similar, and we know Total Ramen does a lot of live stuff too.
Right. Absolutely, yeah.
But I can't imagine, dude. I tried when I first did my setup in my old apartment. I was like, this is my live rig loadout. So I had 2 rack units. I'm like, the one 4U unit. This is the basics of what I would need to go live, to go take it someplace, to go play in Brooklyn.
Right.
And then like the bigger rack case that had all my other stuff. Now I'm looking at this. I mean, it is trashed right now to begin with. Number one, it's not even organized. Number two, I'm like, there is no way in hell that I would possibly be taking this thing live anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I know it gets big, and especially now that I've gotten more into guitars. So now it's like more guitars and stuff like that. And it might have been easier when I was using the RC505. I think I still feel more confident with the RC505 as a loop station that never fails. Whereas Ableton, like I can run it on my Mac Air. And I have tested it and it works smooth as silk. I've never had any problems, but I haven't tested it for long periods of time. So, and that's the whole show. I mean, my SSD, I plugged it into my Mac Air. If anything goes wrong with that, I mean, there's no show. I don't have a single sound. So it's a little, I don't know. That'd be a little nerve wracking, I think.
Do you have, I don't know if you're like me, like I literally have a spare, like it's a flash drive.
Yeah, I should. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know people that do like live shows with this kind of setup. They'll have like a backup, like laptop.
Yeah, and they'll have the audio interface that has the double connection, so you can fail over to. Yeah, like people go people are really careful with it.
Yeah. I was hoping that I don't know why I'm talking about the RC505 because I think I love it so much. I bought it and I sold it twice. Because I regretted it the first time, and then I was using it again. I was like, I want more. And there's a bunch of Ableton bullies on Twitch, so they bullied me into it. And so I sold it again. But I even now, like if Boss put out like a 7 RC505, like a 10 channel one, I think for a live performance, I think I would still feel more confident with a completely separate, hardware unit that I know is nothing's gonna go wrong with it ever. But I
hear that.
Thinking about that, but
I hear that. I mean, would you have room? Like, I just put the 3rd tier back on my wire thing. If you're in the stream when I'm playing music, I like basically the 3rd tier I had before. So now it's just like I'm in my cage again. I wouldn't have room for it. I thought about getting one because for looping purposes, I'd rather have something that's tactile, and have it synced
honestly,
with Ableton.
Like, the 505 is just like, if you want to and I still haven't been able to really replicate how fast I can get my loops going that I could with the RC505 because I had all my sounds and then they were just ready to go and I just click on the thing and boom, I could just get it going. So it's definitely, I haven't been able to recreate the speed at which I can loop with Ableton. At the same time, Ableton has opened up all the massive, because I can control each individual channel.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a trade-off. I mean, there's no perfect solution really, but
it's really whatever works for your workflow.
Exactly.
And I've got, dude, like last year I bought, and I keep downloading the update for the one button looper device for Ableton.
Oh yeah,
But
Toby. Yeah, Ableton drummer.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ableton Drummer, that's right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten it installed or loaded out. I'm still using the built-in looper, and I've got it all mapped, to the custom stuff. I'll be talking about that at some point today when I do my
Yeah.
tour. And I hate the built-in looper. I really am
Yeah.
not a fan, but the one button looper I'm just like, man, it's going to be such a sea change. Maybe I'll just take like another stream break for like a week or two and redo my stuff. I want to flip the setup as well.
Yeah, I've been meaning to jump into it. Yeah, so Toby, we were going to do like a combined video, like a YouTube video on the one button looper, because I reached out to him because I was like, man, I feel like this is exactly what I was looking for, because it kind of bridges the gap.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I
between
felt
the
about it.
505 and Ableton.
Yeah.
Which I think specifically is what he was thinking. And yeah, he gave me the software. He didn't even charge me for it.
Nice.
And then we were supposed to do like a combined YouTube video, and then I just never ended up using it into my system. And now I feel really bad about it. But I've since bought a couple of his other plugins.
Yeah, he's got some tasty stuff there.
Stuff is fantastic. Yeah, AbletonDrummer.com. Any Ableton users out there? I mean, he's just absolutely just fantastic, and his YouTube videos are amazing, and I can't recommend them enough.
But you mentioned you've been getting into the production side of stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you described it as that you were getting into it, because I had thought this was something you'd been doing for a while. Just your approach of it and moving to the sync and on all of that as well. So
Yeah. So I mean, I guess in terms of producing for other artists, this is the first opportunity that I've had over the last year, I guess, year and a bit. It's the first time I've been producing for other artists.
Okay.
Which I've really been enjoying. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be starting a new one soon. And a couple other ones I'm working on. There was another guy that was supposed to get to me who's having some technical issues. So, but yeah, it's something I want to do more and more of because I'm really enjoying it. So,
it's interesting. Like, I feel like that's a journey that a lot of people take. That we start with our own music, we start with our own bands, we do whatever. Then, because of that, people start reaching out to us and saying, "Hey, can you produce? Can you do that?" I had to stop producing. For other people. The downside of eating on camera, folks, eating on stream, is that you're like, burp. Okay. I had to stop producing for other people just because of time. I don't know how you have the hours in the day. It blows my mind, Dan.
Well, the trick is I don't have a real job. that's the trick, and that's only because.
Oh, is that it? Is that how you do it?
That is the trick. Yeah, out of extreme stubbornness, I have worked to the point where because I feel like with music or arts in general, you have to, if you really want to do it, you have to like immerse yourself in it completely. Mm-hmm. And there was this Canadian mixing engineer. I can't remember if I told you this or not, but he gave me this. He said this quote when I did I did a year of recording engineering about, oh my God, it's been 11 years ago now. And he came in as a guest spot. He's produced a lot of big Canadian bands, like most of the big ones. His quote was, "Don't dilute your dreams." And this has like stayed with me all these years. So yeah, I'm just super stubborn, and until, I mean, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, financially to keep a career going of music, regardless of how many different things that I'm doing. But yeah, I'm still hanging, still doing it.
Yeah.
We haven't lost our house yet, so that's good.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
No, I had a drama teacher that was horrified when I was a teenager talking about having a plan B. She said, "Don't ever have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, you're going to end up using it." And so I never had a plan B.
Right.
In hindsight, that was also a mistake, though. So it's like there's nuance to both sides of it. Like,
it's, you got to pay the bills, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
I went through a period of time when I couldn't. Actually, that man in stream, Azarius 042 Scott, like saved my life basically. When in our 20s, I've known him since we were 9 years old, and if it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened. But right. It's funny because talking to one of my friends that I've also known since we were very young, like 9 or 10, who's a professional musician, plays Broadway shows in the pit orchestra, tours and stuff like that. Whenever he'd come to my place, he'd be like, "Man, I wish I had health insurance." I mean, he is on the marketplace here in the United States because health insurance is no small thing here in the States.
Right.
Being like, I wish I had this, man. It's, be able to get the gear that I want to get and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, well, I wish I could tour and play music and do that instead of having to work my day. I mean, it's my own job. It's my own company, so I can kind of set my own hours. But Coke is saying in the chat that this is a tiny little thing about my music is coincidentally influenced by Dan Tremblay Music because he played a small part of Love Roller Coaster, I think, and I followed him in a shrimp set, lol. So I just played that riff today, actually.
I think I remember something about that. I don't know if it was like an intentional thing or I just it was something that was probably I was playing something that was influenced by that song, and that sounds vaguely familiar. Nice.
Yeah, but your production stuff, because I was going through writing your intro, I was like, I'd heard your album, Glacial Drift. I was like, oh yeah, it was great. If you follow your Spotify for artists, you probably saw New York, sort of Queens, New York in there in your stats. And I was like, oh, I wonder what other music he's released, because I know you've been releasing some other stuff and you've been doing your music for placement for film and TV. And I'm on your Spotify and I'm scrolling. I'm like, holy fuck, holy crap! That's actually you've done quite a bit. So I found that really fascinating. Now, this genre, cinematic covers and originals.
Yeah.
Was that from moment one was that predating when you were on Twitch, or was it from moment one when you were on Twitch to kind of arrive at what you wanted to call what it is that it's kind of like what rolls your socks up and down, like what you like to listen to is what you like to make. How did you arrive at how you describe that in your overall sound?
Yeah, so cinematic comes from I can't tell you how many times I've been told that, hey, your music sounds really cinematic, and usually it's in the context of like, I'm sorry, we can't use your music because it sounds too cinematic.
Oh,
and you wouldn't believe the number of times that's happened.
Really?
Yeah, and because licensing music is music that you hear licensed for. It's not necessarily cinematic, really. They're more kind of like song based. Where the stuff that I write, I think, is more like they're kind of like little mini film cues for a movie that's never been done. And it's not intentional. It's just I listen to a ton of film music, and that's just kind of what comes out. So that's where the cinematic part comes from. Unfortunately, it's really hard to sell that as a genre. Like I can't even submit that I can't even put it in under soundtracks if you want to submit it to a genre for Spotify or whatever. Because
really?
It has to be a soundtrack that's been put out. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, so cinematic is, but I think that's where the ambient came in, because ambient music is kind of, that label has been broadened greatly. Long since Brian Eno kind of coined it or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So now ambient and cinematic, I think, have kind of sort of merged as one. So ambient has become like this all-encompassing kind of category that's bigger than it's ever been. It's maybe not necessarily ambient,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more to it. But anyway, that's where the cinematic stuff comes from. I think the covers, when I first came on Twitch, I think I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing on Twitch. I don't know what people want, so I'll start doing some covers, and then I think slowly those two things kind of started to merge together. Like, why don't I, instead of just doing, I think probably in the beginning I was just doing piano covers with vocals on top, and then I was like, wow, this is not, that's maybe not super interesting. So then I started to kind of merge the two worlds together to try to create something different. So, and then Dambient was born.
Dambient was born, yeah. Ken says he's had songs rejected to an ambient submission with a comment, your song is too ambient.
That's so funny, man.
It's kind of the opposite.
It's so stupid. Like the whole anyway, don't even get me started. I'm going to go on a huge rant about music and how terrible the industry is, but I don't want to bring down your 18-hour stream. But
no, it's I think we talked about this when we met in a past life. I was the CTO of music streaming and delivery company and worked very closely with all the labels and saw how all that works. And I mentioned on stream that my niece and two nephews are in a family band together. It's a trio, and they were competing in a battle of the bands with Live Nation, and they made it to the finals. They did a great job. I don't want to say anything about them. And overall, it was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. But there was definitely at least one person that was in the finals that I'm like, really, for a battle of the bands? And then I realized after checking this person's Instagram that they had like 19,000 followers. I'm like, oh, it's one of these things where Live Nation, they're like seeding it, where it's like, yeah, see, it's grassroots, but if somebody that was from like across the country, clearly had some money and label backing behind them, but they were trying to make it seem organic, like that kind of stuff. But no, it's interesting about the ambient thing, because I went through the same struggle as well, because like you, I hear ambient, the word, and I think of a very specific type of music. And so I'm like, well, what I'm doing is not ambient. What I'm doing is a little, especially when I leave the drums and stuff aside, because I didn't do drums until the Bring the Beat Back stream. I forget what date that was. So I literally didn't have drums in my stream because I just hadn't gotten there yet with my setup and learning Ableton, because I hadn't used Ableton before I started streaming. But even still early on, I was like, this isn't ambient. It's not. So you call it cinematic, because your stuff is very cinematic. And I went with melodic ambient is what I went with, because it's
there
just,
you go.
It's not truly ambient. But it's trying to categorize it. You get put in these boxes.
It's next to impossible. And at the end of the day, I guess I don't worry about it too much either, because, the whole streaming world and Spotify, it's all a bit ridiculous, isn't it? So
yeah,
I don't worry about it too much. I think mostly I put stuff out there just so that people that maybe don't want to buy it on Bandcamp or are unable to buy it on Bandcamp, they can still listen to it, and then they can still have access to it. That's pretty much the only reason. Pond Scum, welcome in, friend. Had a question. I don't know if that was
Pond Scum.
Theoretically slap a non-release.
That's what I was going to get at. Yeah, thanks, Pond Scum. Yeah. There's okay, Dan, I've been fixing to talk to you about this, actually. So this is as good a time as any. Exactly what Pond Scum is talking about. Not necessarily AI, but the whole reason I have the PC that I have is not for my day job, though I do use it for my day job. But I put like a 3080 in there when I got it, or a 4080, because I wanted to create. I have an album that's complete. It's been complete for a couple of years, but I wanted to release it as a visual album. And then I could take that and have that soundtrack, exactly like Pond Scum says, be released as a soundtrack. And then it got me thinking, I'm listening to your music as well. It's very evocative. It's a lot of imagery in it, even sans vocals. Like, there's so much going on. Have you ever considered doing exactly that, making a visual album somehow? With all the free time you have.
Yeah. No, that's, I have I'm almost as obsessed with video as I am with audio.
Interesting.
So when I'm not doing music, I'm constantly learning about cameras and editing and
nice
lenses and color correction. Almost as much time as I spend on music. So the long-term vision has always been, whether or not I'm going to get there, is to shoot and edit all my own stuff and then create, the music to go with it. So not necessarily a dialogue-driven thing,
right?
Just like, so that's always been the long-term vision.
It's interesting,
but video is music is time-consuming enough, and video is like a whole other.
It's a whole other ballgame. That was the whole reason I had all my camera gear, was the exact same reason that you're talking about. I got it so I could do photography and videography for my own projects, and then as a side hustle, did corporate headshots and industrial videos and stuff like that to pay for the gear. I did that, and once the gear was paid off, I stopped doing it. I'm like, hey, cool. For the exact same thing, because I had this vision of making my own long-form music videos, or that kind of stuff. No,
probably why we get along so well.
I think so. But no, the PC, my dude, this is 3 years ago I got it from Puget Systems, and I did it specifically for Unreal Engine. because you can do incredibly cinematic looking things in Unreal Engine in almost real time. I was like, man, that's really cool. I could really do a cool visual album with this, and I just haven't had the time to do it. So
anything to do with like the visual component of stuff is just.
Oh my gosh,
but
dude.
yeah, like I'm so inspired by like I keep finding all these amazing filmmakers. I'm always looking for like the next big director. You know what I mean on YouTube. Because that's where they are. These next big film directors, the next Christopher Nolan and all those guys, they're on YouTube, and there's some extraordinary talent. And I do reach out to those people, by the way. I don't. It doesn't matter to me how many followers they have. They're either going to answer my email or they're not. And I'm always throwing myself out there and saying, "Hey, I love what you do. Let me do some music for it." So it hasn't worked out yet, but I'm going to keep throwing myself out there because there's some extraordinary filmmakers that. Just mind-blowing. Like you're watching a film. It's like a 5-minute YouTube video, but you're watching, oh my god, this is like I'm watching a film that's on Netflix right now. Because the gear is so accessible now, and then because it's
exactly
come down in price. And
I mean, you get like Blackmagic, like the Pocket 6K.
I love Blackmagic.
Man, and it looks like
that's what I want.
Yeah, it looks almost like an ARRI. You could put it as a B cam with an ARRI, and it'll work. Type of thing.
It's absolutely the footage that comes out of those cameras is absolutely insane. Actually, Cass, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even say this, but Cass the Human, that's my next production project. I'll be producing her EP, but she's also into film. So that might be something that we can also do some kind of collaboration with together that we spoke about. So
that kind of stuff is so interesting. I had I started on video with like a Canon 5D Mark II, but I put the Magic Lantern RAW on it. So I'd be shooting RAW on it, and it was beautiful, but the workflow was awful because it was such a hack. And then I went to the FS700 with a Shogun Inferno external recording RAW as well. But that was a Sony, and it has a Sony color science. So now in the kitchen, my primary cam in the kitchen is my A7 III. I sold... I had these beautiful lenses, and I sold almost everything because I downsized. My videography partner moved to New Mexico, so we're not doing corporate videos anymore. So I didn't need I had like the vest with the Steadicam and all that stuff, and I just got rid of all of it during the pandemic. I was like, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love learning about it, and so my side keyboard shot. Out of focus. That's the Canon 70D, the old school.
Oh 70D.
Yeah, but it's got the nifty 50 on there, and that's
nice.
Like that beautiful blurred shot, which everybody loves. The people love that shot. And then I got a Canon R7, and I got a Sigma. We're getting all nerdy about video now.
I know. It's cool. We've talked about all the music things.
I picked up the Sigma art lens, the 18 to 35.
Yeah, that's a beautiful lens. That's some great class.
But the camera, I'm still not sure of. I'm like, oh man,
the R7.
It's
interesting.
The footage coming out of it is nice, but it's not like Blackmagic nice.
No.
So I'm not sure. It's we'll see about that one, but.
But
then I want to get like a drone, and I gotta do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's money and it's time, and at the end of the day, you could make the crazy thing is, so you could create something amazing, that looks and sounds amazing. There's no guarantee you're gonna make a dime off of it. And
see a Coke. Sorry to interrupt you, Dan. Coke's taking off.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You can spend all that money and time on it, dude. I've got to say though, like. Going to the Sony photo cameras for video, they're not really designed for it. The color science has gotten better for Sony, but that low light performance. Yeah. You look at all those photos on my Instagram, they're just fancy selfies, basically. I just rent a studio, set up my lights, and take my artist photos. That's how I do my artist photos. I shoot them myself. Like, the low light performance on those Sonys compared to even nowadays with Canon is still insane. It's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, Sony's nuts. The FX30 is a fantastic camera.
Oh yeah.
The FX3 was used on, it was used on the Creator. That's a $4,000 camera used to film a Hollywood. Of course, they have like.
Yeah, they have grips with all the light. They can light it properly. But still.
I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I watch tutorials all the time about camera angles and lighting the scene and all that kind of stuff. So. It's something that I want to get into it. I haven't maybe it's the time, maybe it's just the fear that it's going to take me away from audio stuff, and audio is what I should be doing. So I don't know. We'll see.
I find this is what I struggle with, man, as a photographer as well. I'm not very good. It's what it comes down to. Like, technically, you want me to light a shot, I can light your shot, I can make it look, I can do that kind of stuff. But if you ask me to DP it, to be the cinematographer, like think about camera movement and think about framing and meaning and all that kind of stuff, man, I'm not great at it. I'm really not. Yeah. And every time I'm doing, like I'm traveling, I take my camera because I've got some crazy glass and some crazy vintage. I have some old Soviet lenses too, like manual ones that I use depending on what.
Nice.
And I'm trying to, I'm like doing photos. I'm like, what am I going to add to the discourse of this location?
Right.
That hasn't already been taken 1,000 times by 100,000 photographers.
It's tough. It's there's so much to get right. Like it's a beast.
Yeah.
It's this huge beast. But yeah, I think you just have to kind of just enjoy the process. And like photography, I'm terrible at. I could not take a picture for the life of me, except for my iPhone camera, and that's fine. I can take my little portrait shots and my landscape shots, and that's fine. Yeah. But photography, I have like huge respect for. They make it look easy, and it's not. Video, I think the key thing is just like coverage. You just have to get a ton of coverage, and that's something that I usually don't get right. I usually don't shoot enough stuff, and then you're editing, and you're like, oh man, I need like 2 hours, 2 more hours of footage to get like you have to shoot like 10 hours to get like 2 minutes of good usable footage. So
absolutely,
yeah. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of it.
Like the thing that gets me about video and cinema, though, I've been watching older movies recently. And when I say older, I mean like from when I was a teenager and stuff like that. So not like, but even older than that. I miss blocking. I miss camera movement and blocking.
Right.
We don't really have that anymore. In a lot of, especially larger movies, the camera is oftentimes locked off,
right.
Or at the very least, it might have a dolly shot or something like that. But there's no blocking because the editing is so quick, and that's, I guess, kind of what I'm getting at with the video stuff too. Is that like I can visualize locked off shots pretty effectively,
right.
But like, how do I think about using the 3D medium that is the parallax effect and all of that, the 3D medium that is camera movement in video and cinema.
Right.
How can I use that to tell a story? I can lock off, set up on sticks on a tripod and just, that's easy enough. So, it seems like you're right that it's just a whole other wormhole that you could potentially go down.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, and it's you could spend your life doing it, And
then you see some people that are just like music. You see some people that are just naturally phenomenal at it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. I've been doing music for, I've been playing music for, 40 years.
Hey, 40 years. Oh my God.
Recording music for 30 years, and then it's like, well, but the people that are in video, they've been doing video for that long.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're not gonna be able to necessarily, but I mean, I think you can get caught up in the numbers game. And at the end of the day, I think if you have an idea and you have a story to tell, just go out and do it. And if you're happy with it, then really that's it. You've created something that wasn't there before. So
that's some meat and potatoes that are coming to the end of the hour. That's a really profound thing. I think
I'm very profound.
You are very profound. No, you're right, though. I think that applies to any kind of art, though, is if you're making it for yourself without necessarily being indulgent, without necessarily being self-indulgent. Right. But if you make something that you want to see exist in the world, there's a truth to that, as opposed to making something that you think other people will like.
Yeah, and... Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and the same could be said on Twitch, right? And probably
exactly. Art in general.
I'm going to try to play the music that I think that people want to hear, and then I was like, then I'd be playing like a piano song, and people were enjoying it. I'm like, oh, you're okay with me just playing piano? Okay, well that's news to me. I thought I had to be, I thought I had to set up fireworks or something, and like. So yeah, I think we all get caught up in that, like what we think people want, but at the end of the day, I don't have a clue what people want. So I've just stopped caring about that whole thing,
Yeah.
and I just do my thing, and whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't, man, that's fine too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a truth to that. So looping back to earlier when we first started talking about your journey on Twitch and how long you've been streaming and stuff like that, that was what I was curious about. If you had gone on a similar path that I went on, that you started streaming and had your truth and you had what you were doing for yourself, what you wanted to have exist in the world. Then, if you got some folks that wanted something in particular and you started kind of chasing that, I didn't really do that, but I found myself when I came here and I had all the space to set everything up, because half of my gear I couldn't set up in my old place. I got weeded with the gear and I forgot to follow the truth. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think I think I started off like maybe trying to give people what I thought that they wanted, and now I think I'm doing more just kind of my thing. I think the best streams now are the ones like Lisa Cuthbert's Hexfest, where I've kind of turned those into just 2 hours, just whatever.
Yeah.
No rules, just music. I've been having a lot of fun with those. I'm like just really digging deep into sounds, and that's been a lot of fun. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. You got to just find your little niche and do your little thing, and then if you're into it, then other people will be into it. Whereas if you're just trying to give people what you think that they want, it's never going to work.
Now, do you find this is something I've been wondering about for myself, so I'm asking for advice. And I'm going to be asking, I think, everybody for advice today. Oh, Sander Klepperson, happy birthday yesterday, Sander. Good to see you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sander Klepper. We're going to get very sexy in here. Happy birthday, Sander.
What do you mean get really sexy? This is all about sexy.
Oh, it's all about sexy. That seems like a really awkward segue for me to then be like, I'm going to ask you for some advice.
Well, I was going to make a really bad joke, but I won't because it's still early in your stream. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh, no. Like with 4 hours of sleep, I'm going to need the jokes to keep me going. My coffee's already gone, by the way. This is my second cup for the day. So I'll see how I'm going to make it this next time. I might just do pour over again. I don't know, in the next hour. But no, I remember my brother, who was a big mentor for me for music because he's older than I am. When I was young, and I was getting the Luquato stuff going when I was like 16, 17, so like almost 30 years ago now, getting Luquato stuff going. And I was like, I did, the techno-y electronica, then I did a trance album, and, like kind of all over the place. And then I did a piano pop album in 2012. And he's like, dude, you gotta focus. And I'm like, no, this is all me. These are all facets of who I am. So on Twitch, what I'm finding, Dan, is that sometimes somebody will join my stream because they had been there looking at my music minimalist that I was doing for a little bit, like the pure ambient stuff, the pure true ambient stuff. And then they'll join for like a Wednesday night and I've got like EDM, not quite EDM, but I've got like techno going on or like funky loudness and stuff like that. Like, I'm trying to find a question here, trying to express what I'm asking, but it's just like, I like being all over the place with all the electronic adjacent. I mean, like one of the things I'm doing on this stream marathon is a Wait Not the Tide listening party. It's like an alt folk album I released in 2016 under a different artist name, or 2017.
Yeah.
Like
that's fantastic. Yeah.
So like, do you care? I should say, should I care? Like if you're doing all these different things and that is what you are, like these are all facets of what you do. Like you said,
Yeah, I do. I do still think about it. Like if I have people come into the stream, they're like, and they'll get a raid going. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go see Dan because it's like quiet little ambient. And then I'll be blasting out to some God knows what. And it'll be like loud,
your guitar is like,
guitar, distorted guitar, and they're like, what? Yeah. Like you lied to me. Like what is this?
You liar! So, you brought me here. You lied. Yeah.
It's a little bizarre.
Surprise Gabba.
There's streamers that you go into that you know exactly what you're going to get, and I love that. I love going to the streams. I'm like, I know
Yeah,
sound, and that it's going to be chill. I think you and I probably don't have that. I think we're a little bit more kind of all over the place. But
yeah, I think so.
I think that's okay. I think that's just kind of do your thing. And worst comes to worst, people are going to they're going to channel surf, and that's all good too. If they want to come back for a chill tune, and they're going to do that. There's lots of amazing musicians on Twitch, and you can't compete with everybody. So
no.
If they want to, if it's getting a little loud and intense, or maybe the people want the loud and intense, and I'm playing this quiet little piano thing, and people are like falling asleep.
Yeah. I tried this year to set a schedule that was going to be like Mondays was going to be pure ambient, Wednesdays was going to be audio extempore, which can kind of go anywhere, and then Saturdays was going to be.
I tried that.
Yeah, the variety I was calling it. So it was going to be retro wave this day, or like dance this day. Man, I couldn't hold to it. I got bored.
I did that at the very beginning, and I think I had like Funk Fridays, so it was only going to be like funk tunes.
Holy cats!
I know like 2 funk tunes. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Like, they play like one Prince song for like 2 hours, which I do long jams. Let's be honest. But yeah. So I didn't stick to it either. I'm like, no, this is not gonna work. So now it's just like whatever. If it's gonna get, I just warn people it's gonna get loud, or it's gonna be quiet and whatever. I try to give people a heads up, but no, I don't even think about it anymore. I'm like, whatever, man. It is what it is.
So it is kind of like what we were talking about. Like it's your truth. It's like it's real. It's not.
Yeah, just do your thing and don't worry about any of it. Yeah.
But you take requests. Today's going to be my first day taking song requests. Yes. But they're not covers. I only have like 1 or 2 covers in my library.
Okay.
Because like you, I used to play piano and sing. And like just do that and like take covers and have the tip jar and like play whatever people want me to play. But I don't do that anymore. My piano chops are not where yours are. So I was like, I can't play and sing as well as I used to. So I only have like 1 or 2 songs and there's stuff that I can loop maybe. But you take song requests, not only for covers, but also for originals. And that is fascinating to me that you fit those into your set organically.
If you just turn off the request.
They're off for now.
It depends on the day. Some days I don't feel like it. Like the Tuesday production streams now.
You're like, nope.
Usually I don't open the queue. Usually I'll play a couple songs at the end of that production stream. But yeah, I think I do that more for the peeps that are in there, the people that have been following me for a long time, and they have, they have like their favorite songs and stuff like that. So it's more of like a thing for them to do. Sometimes it's successful and sometimes it's not. I mean, I have my streams are very heavy on the lurking. Very, very lurky, and people are they're working, and they don't have time to get in there and look at the queue and request songs. So, and my queue, the song list is very small too. I Ken has been requesting me to play Braveheart for 2 years now. Which I think people have kind of given up on me adding stuff to the Men at Lurk.
Men at Lurk. There's a story from South by Southwest. It wasn't one of the times I was down there, but that Bill Murray famously hopped behind the bar at some post-show party in South by Southwest, and no matter what anybody ordered, they got a shot of tequila. They'd be like, "Can I have a Labatt?" They're like, "Tequila." There you go. It's like, "Oh yeah, can I get a rum and coke?" It's like, "Yeah, tequila." There you go. So I kind of want to do for one of my special events, have song requests, but no matter what somebody plays, it'll just be like an ambient or techno version of Concerning Hobbits from Fellowship of the Ring.
Nice.
Just just do that, no matter what somebody requests. But now that I've said it, I can't do it.
Throw some of the ants in there too. The trees. I always do the talking trees.
Oh yeah. I
was gonna do a whole stream like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Well, sir, we are coming to the end of the hour.
Time. I gotta roll. I
really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been tons of fun, buddy.
It was fantastic. Anything you wanna? What you got going on? Anything you want to promote here? If not, you don't have to.
I got Lisa Cuthbert and I are working on a song together, a collab, and it's awesome. It's turned out really well. So I don't know what we're gonna do with it. It's just one song, but I'm super happy with how it's turning out. So that'll probably be maybe the next thing that comes out. And then, just a production cast the human, which I'm really excited to be working on. And
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm good. Like an EP, starting to work on an EP, which I was supposed to put out a long time ago. So
you know how it is.
Lena Keller.
Oh yeah,
Lena Keller. I'll be collabing with her, and Alden, better known as Weathering Grains. He'll be on that too.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm in between projects of me producing other stuff, I'm trying to do some of my own songs. So yeah,
that's awesome. Everybody follow Dan. Dan, thank you so much for being here, for being my first guest ever. I appreciate you so much, man. Be well. Say hi to the family for me as well.
Is there a check? I didn't get the check in the. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's please send me your Cash App. But I'm sorry. How do I convert U.S. dollars to poutines? No, I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows how to do that conversion.
Good luck on your stream, buddy. I'm going to come check in on you later and see how you're doing. All right.
Hey, hope you get a nap too. All right. Take care.
All right.
Thanks.
Peace.
Bye. All right. So that was Dan Tremblay. If you're not following Dan, you should be following Dan. As you can tell, Dan is an awesome dude. Really fantastic streamer and just kind as can be, just a great guy.